The U.S. government has been trying to convince people to move to the abandoned town of Garnett, Montana for years, yet nobody seems to want to step foot in it. Maybe there's a good reason for this. Once you learn more about the town, you can come to your own conclusions. Who knows, you might think it's an ideal place to live. But before we dive into the story, make sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on our exciting stories. Maybe you'll find Garnett a nice, bucolic place to live, but don't say you weren't warned. How would you feel about moving to an old abandoned town in the middle of nature? There are certainly perks to living in such a place. Imagine the beautiful scenery and fresh air, being far away from the noise and bustle of city life, enjoying a calm, contemplative lifestyle among wildlife. Sounds appealing, right? However, there are also downsides to consider. Some of the first drawbacks that probably come to mind are a slow internet connection, limited entertainment options, and most importantly, a less lively economy. How could one even make a living in an abandoned town? Well, the U.S. government has a solution for that. For those willing to move to Garnett, the government offers free room and board, along with a stipend for meals. That's right. If you decide to start a new life in this town, you won't want for anything. Uncle Sam is literally paying people to live in this abandoned town. But there's one condition. Whoever moves to Garnett must sometimes work at the local souvenir shop or give guided tours to visitors. It sounds like a pretty good deal, right? However, there's more to this town than meets the eye. There's a reason why nobody seems interested in moving to Garnett. The town's name was inspired by the ruby-colored stones found in the area. While these stones weren't precious gems, they were still valuable. The mountainous areas surrounding Garnett offered even more appeal, as they were rich with gold-bearing quartz deposits. Back in the 1800s, people from across the country flocked to the town, hoping to strike it rich. At its peak, Garnett had a population of over 1,000 people. So, what happened to them all? While the town still had enough mineral wealth to keep prospectors around, it wasn't long before things began to change. Garnett was once a bustling town, but its inhabitants were more focused on plundering the resources below ground than on building sustainable structures above it. As a result, many of the original buildings weren't very well constructed. Within just 20 years of the town's heyday, the mining areas were virtually tapped out, and people began leaving as quickly as they had arrived. Around 1934, the price of gold briefly doubled, which led to a short-lived resurgence in Garnett. Families returned to the town, but this period was swiftly overshadowed by the onset of World War I. As the war took its toll, people began leaving Garnett once again. Strangely enough, one resident decided to stay, a woman named Marion, the widowed owner of what had once been the saloon. She had witnessed Garnett's rise to prosperity and its eventual decline. Marion was like a living relic, sharing her stories with anyone who passed through. When Marion passed away, Garnett was left completely deserted. The limitations on dynamite mining during World War II took a toll on the town's economy, and it eventually became a true ghost town. Despite this, the government has made efforts to repopulate Garnett due to its proximity to beautiful natural sites and its unusually well-preserved antique houses. However, despite the town's charm, people seem reluctant to move there, and there's a specific reason for this. There are several legends surrounding Garnett, many dating back to the gold mining era. While some of these stories are dismissed as mere inventions, others are told with an air of seriousness that makes people uneasy. One particular legend, in fact, is what keeps most people from moving to the town. Many believe that Garnett is a ghost town in the most literal sense. It's said that the souls of those who once lived there, particularly those who died in the mines, still wander around the town's old houses. This might sound like mere gossip to those hearing it for the first time, but nearly everyone who visits the town returns with strange and disturbing experiences. Locals and visitors alike have claimed to hear eerie noises at night. Voices coming from the old saloon, laughter, and even cries, as if there's still a party going on. Others say they've seen ghostly figures dressed in period clothing wandering the streets at night. Even Bureau of Land Management historian Alan Matthews, who was not one to believe in ghost stories, had a disturbing experience in Garnet. His presence in the town was purely for scientific research, and he didn't expect anything unusual. However, something happened that made him rethink those old tales. One evening, as the sun was setting, Alan saw what appeared to be the figure of an old lady staring at him through one of the windows of the old hotel. The longer he stared back, the longer the figure stayed there. Creeped out, Alan entered the hotel to investigate, but unsurprisingly, the place was empty. This eerie encounter left Alan shaken. According to Montana resident and writer for the Historical Society Ellen Bomer, there have been many reports of strange incidents over the years. So many people recount the same eerie tales that even the most skeptical individuals begin to wonder if there might be some truth to them. One of the most famous stories involves the sound of piano music. Many visitors to Garnet report hearing slow, mournful tunes coming from an unseen piano drifting through the empty buildings. What's more unsettling is that this eerie music is typically heard at night, usually around midnight. During the day, the town is as quiet as you would expect an abandoned place to be, but once darkness falls, the disturbances seem to begin. Most of the ghost stories revolve around nighttime events, and they seem to intensify during the winter months. During the winter, the stories about Garnet take an even more ominous turn. While the strange piano music is occasionally reported throughout the year, it becomes more frequent and unsettling in the coldest months. Alongside the music, there are more tales of eerie sounds and ghostly visions. The old saloon, in particular, seems to be the most haunted place during the winter. Visitors have reported seeing ghostly figures dancing inside the saloon and finding strange footprints and gouge marks in the snow. Even more chilling are the reports of human-shaped figures appearing and disappearing in the shadows, accompanied by eerie laughter carried on the wind. While these kinds of ghost stories are enough to deter most people from staying in Garnet, there are some who find them intriguing. In fact, a few dedicated volunteers return to the town year after year, undeterred by the haunting legends. Despite all the reasons not to visit Garnet, the town's dark intrigue has never completely faded. Between the haunted saloon and the tales of winter wanderings, Garnet's spookier side seems to attract as many people as it frightens away. The old hotel, as recounted by Alan Matthews, is believed to be haunted by the ghost of a woman. She is often seen standing by one of the windows, gazing out at the town below. Stories of ghostly apparitions and haunted dwellings are nothing new, especially in a place like Garnet. While official government websites and information about the town make no mention of hauntings, the legends continue to thrive. Many visitors leave the town with eerie stories of their own, further feeding Garnet's reputation as a literal ghost town. Some visitors report feeling a strange presence or hearing unsettling noises late at night, especially during the colder months. The piano music, the laughter, and the mysterious figures in the shadows all contribute to the town's haunting atmosphere. Even though none of these stories have ever been conclusively proven, they are enough to keep most people away. Despite this, Garnet remains a point of fascination for those interested in history, the paranormal, or simply a quiet, scenic getaway. While the U.S. government continues its efforts to repopulate the town, the stories of its ghostly inhabitants keep Garnet's population sparse. For some, the idea of living in a ghost town is too terrifying to consider. For others, it's a mystery worth exploring.